And we are back. Wait, no, we didn't take a commercial break. Dang it.
Dog, I was waiting. He didn't do the 3, 2, 1 this time, man. That's not my fault this week, dude. It's not my fault, man.
Sean is always trying to start.
I want to start the show like Greeny. You know how Greeny does on ESPN? You don't watch?
You know I don't watch ESPN.
All right, so there's a dude named Mike Greenberg. His name is Greeny. And he goes, and we're back and better than ever.
Oh,
and
see,
something. And he has all this quick little thing, but it's like super a lot of stuff, but he says it really fast, and you're like, damn, I missed.
Yeah, we need a signature opening, actually.
Man. So anyway,
hello everybody, welcome to.
But I can never get the count. I never know when the damn camera turns on.
He's just trying for a clapboard again.
I need a clapboard, man. Yeah. So anyway, man.
So
we're back, though.
Yeah,
and
we are
better than ever.
We are better. That's true. Let's just steal Greeny's.
Yeah.
Introduction.
He's been doing it for so long anyway. It's like he should expect people to bite him by now. You know what I'm saying? Bite his style and stuff. So yeah. Anyway,
we had a great week last week. That Juneteenth. If you guys didn't go to Juneteenth, you missed a great festival.
Yeah.
Suckers.
Y'all should have came, man.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you wouldn't have come.
Yeah,
and then,
it's really weird.
know what I really, I'm not gonna say I'm pissed off. I don't like it though that people from here drove to Denver to their motherfucking Juneteenth, man.
Are you serious?
I edited myself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like we was on the radio.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
ding, ding,
drove
ding.
up there to their damn Juneteenth.
No, you should have stayed here. I don't know who he's talking about.
Yeah,
but
man.
Whoever it is,
I'm not
you
gonna
should have
say your
stayed
name
here.
because people will be upset. They would be shocked by your deceit.
You had no excuse. There was 3 days.
Yeah.
3 days you could have come down to Juneteenth.
Craziness, and so it was what I expected. So to be honest, I thought the whole park was gonna be full.
Oh really?
All 8 hours, all 3 days.
That would be quite a task.
I know. So then I was like, as we got closer, I was like, okay, that's not what's gonna happen. Like, they're gonna be like 400, 500 people there at a time, and they're going to shift in and out. And that's what happened, man.
Yeah. I got to say, that was an incredible feat. I remember when Dee originally showed me his, original proposal plan for it, and I was like, that is a lot. And then, lo and behold,
boom,
he pulled it off.
Juneteenth, so guess what was happening on the 18th? Lights, camera, action. Stage pulled up, they was doing it. I was like, dang, dude, the stage was dope, man. The whole stage crew was like, a legit stage crew.
Yeah, I don't know who they were. They were like
the mics and the gloves and all the stuff hanging off their belt and stuff. It was dope. I was like, dang, man.
Yeah, so it was badass. You guys missed it.
It was pretty dope.
Well, you did. If you didn't miss it, good on you. But if you did, shame.
We're gonna do a video. There's gonna be a bunch of videos, but I think we're gonna do like a really nice one. I'm gonna try to. And
of Juneteenth.
You're the editor of Les. Who's the hierarchy in the editing?
Les.
Do I rank up there? I've never actually edited anything.
You could try it, and we could decide what your rank is.
All right, so I'll do my first one and try to get in the rankings off my first job. Yeah. My phone does a good one.
Yeah, actually, Sean's phone is a better editor than I think both Les and me.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Other than that, so Juneteenth was great, man. Thanks, D, Jen, all the folks that put in Jamon G, Floyd.
Will.
Hollywood, Will, one body, KLCC is just like another level of community organizing in the city. And there's not a community organization that has that
holds
level.
A candle to him.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
I don't think there's not. I mean,
I
you
really
would hear
don't
about
think so
it, even
either.
if they were like up in Thunder Mountain or wherever. Is that somewhere up north, Thunder Mountain? It sounds like that.
I have no idea.
It sounds like that's somewhere up in Monument or something. But even up there, we would hear about community organization.
Right. Well, they're like an actual grassroots organization too that just does everything grassroots, and they're successful at it. A lot of these organizations aren't grassroots at all. They're like official. They get
some foundation pumped bread into
exactly.
them. Jen and D, they didn't get any major sponsorship from any corporations, man, I ain't gonna tell no business, but I'm gonna tell you, man, it was some crazy stuff. How
just
the people just disrespected the festival and didn't want to have nothing to do with it. And they put it on, man. They brought out Surface, Shy, what's the dude name? I can't even think of it now. But anyway,
Trick. Apparently, so I learned about
Trick.
that band Trick. They had a hit back in the 90s or something
Yeah,
here.
it was like up there.
Yeah, so I didn't realize that. I was like, who are
and
these
he's
people?
from here.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
from
So
the Springs, and
they were like, they played him on Magic back in the day.
Yeah.
I was like, I remember that.
Yeah, like they had this hot ass hit. So anyway, yeah, they came out, and it was dope, man.
Played some Prince.
The dude TK Kravitz was out there, and I was like, who is that? But then then I heard the song, I was like, oh, that's him.
Oh, okay,
I'm old, man. I got to hear the song. I don't know the artist, man. So anyway, yeah, it was great, man. We appreciate everything, and then it's on to the next, man. We got the 4th of July coming up, and then Chinook Center's anniversary.
This August.
Yeah, we're in the middle of the summertime, man. So we're not done yet.
I feel like there's something else coming up in July.
Doom, doom, room, doom, room. I'm gonna bring some drums out there. Doom, room.
So we are planning a big housing march July 31st, everybody. You have to be out there.
Mass march.
It's going to be a because the city, they'll know there's a crisis, but we need to be like, look, do something about it. So we need the numbers out there to show that this is a real thing that's happening in the city that people actually care about. The mayor. So we talked about this in our Juneteenth episode, but we confronted the mayor about his lack of doing anything.
Yeah. Man, that motherfucker. He said Colorado Springs is not in the business of housing.
Yeah.
People.
Yeah.
That he said that.
Yeah. He also dismissed Denver and Austin as shitty cities, but I just got to say, they're both more highly ranked, and according to U.S. News, than Colorado Springs.
Yeah,
so.
Best Places says that they're both better cities than us, man.
So,
your
probably because they're putting money towards trying to fix their housing crisis.
Yeah, they're
putting,
they're taking their least and trying to uplift the least with the most.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it's working for them, it looks like to me. I told him, man, I was like, no, I don't want to be Portland. I don't want to be whoever.
Yeah.
I know, but I want to pay I forgot the word I used, but I want to pay attention to our homeless and people that are out sleeping in a freaking tent with their kids. I want to pay attention to them differently in the same way that they're doing, differently than we're doing here.
So speaking of housing,
dun-ba-dun.
We have two guests here today. These are our guests, Jesse from the Tenant Union.
The Tenant Union champ. Hey, man. Hold on. Let's clap it up for Jesse. Clap it up for Jesse.
So we had Gabe on earlier. Jesse kind of is going to give us a little bit of update what's been going on.
Yeah.
And then Al is also a tenant here in Colorado Springs at... I don't want to...
Are we saying that? Are we doing that? Are we talking about where you live or no?
I'm currently a legal tenant of Willow Creek Apartments.
All right.
Okay.
Which has been going through some shit lately.
Yeah.
Which has been going
bullshit. Where is Willow Creek at?
It's just outside Manitou, West End.
Okay. All right.
Right at the end of Old Colorado City.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. But before we get to you, my friend, I want to get back to the tennis union just real quick because we haven't really. Gabe was the last tennis union conversation we had, that was at the radio station in the wintertime, so it's been a minute. So, Jesse, let's talk about the tennis union and what you guys have been up to, and kind of give the people a recap. What is the union, and why are you guys doing what you're doing, and how are you doing what you're doing?
Yeah, so there are two aspects to the Colorado Springs Tenant Union. The first one is that we're here to help tenants learn their rights under the law of Colorado and trying to exercise those rights in this brutal system we've all been thrown into.
Yeah.
So, for instance, when your landlord is ignoring your request to take care of pests, rats, bugs,
or would do that?
No.
I know, unheard of.
They don't arrest and take care of it.
Jacking up your rent without warning you, or refusing to even look at water damage, say in your bathroom or kitchen, and it's starting to smell like mold. We want to be there to show you how to twist your landlord's arm, scare him a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
The second aspect, though, is more important because it's not enough to know what rights we have as tenants. To bring down the courts on bad landlords, because the whole system is honestly very tilted heavily against tenants. So, yeah, right? It's almost like you need an organization to help fight it together.
Sounds like it.
Like the way it works, a landlord can, for instance, say they're charging you a new extra fee for the outside lights, and you can fall behind on your rent because of that fee. And then within a month of that, you are getting a court summons, a complaint of unlawful detainer from your landlord saying you have to come here and, answer, well, okay, I guess the house is yours now. You're evicted.
So I'm sorry, I just have to interrupt you for a second. This sounds as if you're speaking from some sort of experience that you've had.
A few.
So people instead of raising rent, what they're saying is like, oh no, there's just additional fees. We're not raising your rent, but they're extracting more money out of you without actually.
And even
like,
if it's a little bit, if you get behind on the rent, now they have a case to say, oh, you gotta give us that extra money, or you're evicted. Your lease, it doesn't mean shit now.
Right.
Even though, like at that point, when you get that court summons within that month, you're not even sure if they had the right to charge you that extra fee in the first place. And how do you take them to account on that? And it's very tricky.
Can you? I'm sorry. So they could cut your lease off, but what if you want to move out? What if you find another place and want to move before your lease is up?
Oh, you need to give them notice, and that's usually in the lease. You have to give them at least a month ahead. But you fall behind on rent, you could be out of there within a few weeks.
And it's not like we can start charging them fees if we're
right.
Oh,
I mean, we should be able to.
Making a surprise deduction from our rent for the washers that aren't working.
Exactly.
And actually, you are supposed to be able to do things like that.
Right.
However, it requires you putting your whole life on the line and suing your landlord.
Right.
Now, the way things work is when you sue your landlord over something, they usually within the lease and within the Colorado, there is a right to obtain attorney fees. So that means basically the person that loses that fight pays for the attorney fees of everyone. And attorneys aren't cheap. You're talking $300 an hour to appear in court, and if you thought you had a solid case and then it turns out you didn't, well, now you're on the hook for thousands on top of being evicted, on top of being charged for that eviction. Because they're going to extract the fees for filing to tell the court, hey, this person isn't paying rent. I've done all my due diligence. So anyways, all that to say, the system really sucks. Yeah. So the second aspect of our organization is getting a united front to confront these landlords on a similar level as them.
Right, to equalize power.
Right.
Yeah, and
then eventually have greater power.
Right.
Yeah, because right now they have the greater power, but if we had the ability to collectively bargain with them, for instance, we could be actually getting some better conditions for ourselves year over year instead of worse.
Yeah, when you say that they got the greater power, I want to talk to that real quick.
I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, I feel as though they're more organized, so that does give them more power. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the capitalist class knows there's a class war going on, and they're waging it
exactly against poor people. So when all of the obstacles that we have to get around to organize against our landlords, I hate that fucking word too. Like, why is
Lord of the land?
Like, why do we call them that? But anyway, to organize against them. It takes, risking your well-being, your kids' well-being, where they're going to sleep. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy how, and then, on top, not just in the Springs, all over the country, you can't just go get an apartment somewhere. It's just, hey, I want to move over there now.
That's another level in which
you can't just move. You know what I'm saying? So things are kind of like, landlocked, and I feel like that's why it feels like they have the power. But though, honestly, if everybody in Willow Creek said, I'm withholding $50 of my rent until this damn wash machine, like you said, is fixed or whatever, like, what could they really do? Could they evict every single person?
Exactly, because they do that. If you'll remember a few years ago, down in Ivywild, they evicted everybody out of that high-rise.
Really?
So
I remember that.
If they have plans, I think, but I agree. Like, once we are, like the coup says, they have helicopters. We have hella people. We just need to realize we have hella people. There are more of us than there are of them. And once we're organized,
and that's no matter where you are, every corner of the earth. That's the power. You know what I'm saying? So we got to cultivate that. But anyway, I'm sorry. Sorry for cutting you off. But fuck them and their damn perceived power.
So.
All right.
We're back now? Are we recording?
Yeah.
Oh, I was about to mess with my We can't forget that. What's that shirt? Fuck the landlords. I got to type
1, 2, 3, 4. Fuck the landlord.
Hell yeah.
You can turn that whole thing, tie it back to like feudal lords.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Hell
So
yeah.
what were you saying? You were starting on something before we interrupted you.
Well, a good place to pick up. I can't
building
remember.
power.
Yeah, building power, and it starts complex by complex. Building a tenant union. That is our second goal, main goal, but second aspect of the organization. So, yeah, that was the rest of my thought.
Okay.
There.
Sorry.
But that's true. That's what, and I think this is sometimes what is so hard, that we want everything to be like an overnight success. And this is actually why I respect the tenant union, and I don't remember if I said this when Gabe was here, but you guys are going out and doing shit. You know what I'm
Chipping
saying?
away.
Like, and you just have to go out and you have to
Banging on
get
'em.
boots on the ground or whatever, flip-flops. Flip-flops are just uncomfortable to walk in,
High
I think.
heels.
And actually talk to people and start building up that base of people and talking to them about these issues.
And to be fair to people, like a lot of people don't trust that we're actually there to help them.
Right.
Right.
And so that's like why particularly I am taking a focus on just heading out to people that reach out to us and trying to help them best we can navigate their situation without, even talking about unionizing yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and then you have a record of success too. If you just get a little check mark to be like, hey, we
little
did
knots
this.
on the belt.
Yeah,
we
but-
stopped this eviction. We did, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, man. And then like having people that are willing to come and say, hey, they did this for me or whatever. And like if I didn't know about this stuff, and like coming on this show just so they could say, oh yeah, I've seen this tenant union thing. We need to sell some shirts too, man.
Yeah.
Like get people recognizing the logo and stuff. Yeah.
I think the reason why people are so apprehensive to take help from the union is that nobody's used to just getting free help.
Exactly. And this.
You
Oh,
give
go
a
ahead.
shit about me? What?
Yeah, they just expect that there's caveats or that there's
Yeah.
ulterior motives
Yeah.
because that's what everything else in their lives does to them.
Exactly,
Right,
and
right.
this whole system has consistently failed people, at least my entire life, and certainly longer than that.
Yeah.
There's been thousands and thousands, maybe even millions of people that thought they could change the system from the inside.
Right.
And by my estimate, things have only gotten worse.
Yeah. It's hard to convince somebody that you can help them with their personal problem. You know what I'm saying?
It
Like,
is.
dude, even if you could, I don't got time to deal with you while I'm dealing with this. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's
Like
a great
people just
point.
don't have time to do it. So like, it is just those little notches and like, guys, you know what I'm saying? Come on, and then maybe just literally creating a community because the landlords count on us not talking to each other and not knowing each other and just minding our business and paying our bills. You know, they depend on that. So, it's a slow walk, huh?
Yeah,
It's
it
a
is.
slow walk.
Yeah, and that is definitely one of the things I also want to, what we need to also fight to form the conditions for unionizing is that alienation. Like not knowing your neighbors means you don't know their problems. You don't even know if you have the same problems
Right,
as them.
right.
And then the prospect of dealing with the problem means going to the landlord yourself or
By
yeah.
yourself too, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you're the only one out of all 400 people that got this
And they
issue.
will say
And they
that.
do,
Yeah.
yes.
Say that, yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, if you go in there with 30 of y'all, they can't do anything but say, "Let me get on that." You know what I'm saying, or whatnot. So yeah, man. Anyway, I'm with it. So is that the plan? Is that the what's the union's goal here?
So right now, during the pandemic, we lost a lot of our organizational force because people didn't know what kind of risk they were
Right.
willing to take
Right,
or
right.
put other people into. Because
Right.
if you're dealing with this situation with your landlord and this organization is just getting their footing, so they don't have a lot to offer you yet, but one of the people comes in and you get COVID, we've just made your situation worse.
Yeah.
Right, right.
So we are gathering our forces again now that the vaccines are out there. Please get vaccinated, people, please. And now that we aren't putting people at risk by talking to them, we're gathering people that can actually do the research and help people. Because one of the other aspects that, or one of the things about those deals, those situations where you have that utility fee and whatnot, is you don't have a long window to figure things out, which
Right,
means
that's a good point, yeah.
there's a lot you need to know right now, and you need to have people willing to do research right away to get answers as fast as possible, especially when addressing it requires doing something like documenting something days before, or, you know, you have your own windows you have to follow through with.
Right.
So we're putting together our organization and tooling ourselves towards having the capacity to get people answers much faster, and working with more tenants at a time. So I've taken over from Gabe because, I mean, bless that man, he's done so much, but it's a lot to put on one person, and he was trying to carry the org through that pandemic when we were losing people, and that takes toll. So I've been taking over. I'm head organizer, however you want to call it.
Should we give you a crown, or like just so people know?
I mean, if it's
perhaps.
Give her a JC crown.
I'll hawk it and put it into the bank account.
Perfect. This is what we do to landlords: melt it down.
Right, melt their shit and sell it. Hell yeah, man. Okay, somebody's watching this now and they're like, yo, I need the tenant union. Do you want people to call you, or is it like, are you to that part yet, or do you want to, not want
Oh,
me
we
to
got, like, yeah, I could definitely plug that now. We have a
Okay.
few ways to reach out to us, and like I said, we're putting together our organization, but the first step is reaching out to us.
Yeah.
So we have at least 2 ways to contact us, 2 major ones. The first one is by email, and that's where we ask you to send like documentation to. By the way, document everything.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
So, for instance, your lease, even if you have a tenant portal with this landlord you have now and you've got lease easy access there, download that, keep a copy, scan it, whatever you need to do, because situations can change. That's something that actually happened with this complex at Willow Creek, is that the old owners sold it to this new company, and they had their own system, and no one could get a hold of their lease suddenly, and that makes everything else way more difficult to figure out. Like,
and then once you're out of the complex or your lease ends, you then have no way to access the agreement that you had signed on to.
Exactly, that too. If you end up out, but you want to get recourse over something, you need that lease, and you're going to save yourself so much trouble if you just download it now.
And probably get everything in writing rather than call, maybe email or something, just so you have that written record.
Yeah, a few things about that. Emails are great because those count as records of communication that you can print out, show court if you need to. Take photos of issues as soon as you see them. So if you have a leak, take issue right then, take video if you need to, show that it's happening. Send an email, or if you need to mail your landlord, if they're making you submit this stuff by mail, ask your post office if you could do certified mail. They'll give you back a receipt that shows, hey, I sent this, and they'll get a record that shows the landlord signed it. Because you need to show the landlord saw that maintenance request and didn't do anything about it. So take pictures of everything, get everything in writing, emails. Also, this is a one-party consent state for recording. That means that only one person has to know that the conversation is being recorded. So download a call recording app. There are a lot of free ones, and make sure you use that when you're talking to your landlord over the phone, because they like to talk to you verbally, because that's hard to verify what they said. That's all ephemeral. It disappears.
Right. So record them and save it in your phone. Everybody's phone got a little something on it. Put it in your email. So put it in the cloud. Keep that thing there.
And I got sidetracked there. I was giving people an email.
What is the email for the tenant union?
So it is springstenantunion@gmail.com, and that's tenant without an S.
And we can probably, I always say tenants union, sorry about that.
Me too. It caused issues at first.
We could probably get that to float above us right now as we speak.
Les
has that capability.
Can we will it?
Oh yeah, he brought up the DA.
He brought up the DA thing.
Okay.
He brought up the,
all right. You didn't do it. You didn't do it, man.
I don't.
We did the ding 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 thing,
So
and you didn't do it, bro.
this is where Les's editing skills
I'm just saying
are necessary. Like,
I don't know, but you didn't do it, man.
And if we can,
I don't know how.
If we
He's
constrain
like,
that,
Sean, I know I didn't do it, dog.
I'm so sorry. If we constrain that magic a little bit more, we also have a phone number that you can call, leave a voicemail.
Nice.
You ready?
Let's do it.
303-527-4220.
I don't know if that's where
Just
it'll
like
be,
that.
All
but-
of y'all were pointing.
Just like
They're
that.
gonna be like,
Yeah,
wait,
that's
what's the
going to be
number?
some
What's-
crazy editing.
What number was that?
Can you
Okay,
say
one
it
more
again,
time
actually?
again.
Yeah, no, 303-527-4220.
All right,
All right,
excellent.
I'm gonna need y'all to get a 719 area code,
Yeah,
man.
I'm like,
We
well,
did have one.
okay.
We have a physical phone, but we're moving away from that because we want to make it so people that are helping us out don't need to get a hold of this phone that's just sitting in a cabinet
Right,
somewhere.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I was
somewhere
really
it
just
should
pulling
have
your
said.
leg. I don't give a damn where that area code is at.
Oh, no.
I
long as
just
they can call
I
you
just
guys.
trust 719 more than
Yeah,
303.
you know what I'm
Me
saying?
too.
719 or
It feels
die.
like you're coming
Exactly.
from Denver, like some weirdo shit. But, yeah, man. So okay.
Wait, is there another way that they can contact
Oh,
you? Or
email,
are those
call.
the two?
So
Facebook.
another thing we do is every Saturday at 2 p.m. We're here at the Chinook Center, so you can just walk in and tell us about what's going on, and that's a great time for us to really talk to you, dig in, figure it out what's happening and what we need to do. And we also do that over Zoom as well. I don't have the Zoom link for you, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Didn't
that
think
would
to
be
print.
difficult, yeah.
Yeah, and that one would be a
alright.
little tricky. It'd be
Yeah,
like
yeah.
QWV.
Yeah, that'd be
good
hard
Lord.
to do.
Yeah,
But and I was a witness. You were there, John. Were you there?
Well, I was in the other room, I think. Yeah.
There was a person that came in that was getting the runaround. I forgot the specifics. It had to do with their lease being renewed, and it was a whole bunch of legalities that this person didn't understand. And lo and behold, guess who was in the center? Just sitting there, minding their business.
Yep, I was just getting ready.
Jesse hooked it on up. And so then yesterday, this person came in and was like, yo, everything's fine. They renewed my lease. I wanted to come and talk to Jesse, and they were looking for her, but it wasn't a set day for you. But yeah. Anyways, I've seen it and it works.
She
and
was
that
just
wasn't
happy
the first
to have
time.
spoken with somebody. And this is what
Right.
something we
It was
talked
just
about earlier,
comfort,
just
like-
providing, exactly that comfort, that
Yeah,
reassurance
you're like
that
you're
there is
not by
somebody.
yourself with this
Yep.
thing, man. It's a big fighting the giant is a daunting task. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe we
And
should always carry slingshots with us. That would
Right.
be a great
hell yeah,
symbolic
like
thing.
David
Yeah.
and Goliath
Hell yeah.
slingshots, man. Because when you don't know that you got to fight a giant by yourself, dude, it's like
Honestly,
most people aren't gonna fight.
at this point, they're almost all Goliaths,
Yeah,
too.
Right,
totally.
right.
Like-
Exactly.
Yeah, the lording over the people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mwah,
literally, man.
It's like you have a
it's dark.
couple big ones that are almost monopolizing the market, especially here in the Springs.
Yeah.
Oh yes, that's something that we're seeing very often. It's something I didn't know was happening until I was organizing with this tenant union and canvassing. Is everyone has a story about how this complex was recently bought out by big corporation here,
Right.
and then problems start happening pretty quickly thereafter
Right.
with them. But yeah, and that's the story everywhere, and that's because
Is it
they're-
the same names of
Um,
developers and stuff, or is it like just random?
With the
You know what, this
problems.
is, I mean, I'll say the issues are alleged, but the corporations involved right now that we have seen snapping up property are Atlas Real Estate and Dunmire Properties.
Those are
And
the
Denver
big-
Realty Group.
Denver Realty Group was, one of the small, or comparatively to Atlas here, they're, one of the people getting consolidated from, into Atlas.
Okay.
Yeah, and as they consolidate, they get more power. It's kind of like trying to fight Amazon.
Right. The bigger they get,
Yeah.
they're like too big to fail.
So can we talk a little bit about what's going on at Willow Creek and how you guys have been fighting that? Like with whatever level you're comfortable with too. We don't want to
I don't
pry
care.
or cause any legal
They're
problems.
despicable. So I guess I'll just start from what made me seek out the tenant union. Let's see. The people who own my complex took it over in like February, and everything was pretty fine. And then all of a sudden, a huge wave of notice to quits came in, just kind of out of nowhere for seemingly random people, and mostly people who were completely up on their rent and no issues with their leases or anything. And I received one of those. Mine was for a month, but a few people, like 3 people, were just given 10 days to leave, find a new apartment, get a new job, everything. And so they were disposed. Single mother and her child homeless, right?
So is that, I mean, this is what I've always understood as like it's a 30-day minimum sort of thing. Is that not the case?
And unfortunately, that's what you would think looking at laws, but there are little notes here about how, oh, actually, if it says in lease this, then they don't have to do.
So they can just say, like, you're out tomorrow.
Yes, and one of the biggest things we discovered here is a lot of people that even had leases that then expired. The law, or the way it works by default in Colorado, when you look up into what happens when my lease expires, if you take another, or if the landlord takes another rent payment from you, your lease is renewed. That's not what's in the lease, though, and the lease is what decides that. So these leases have something that say where after the expiration, it goes to monthly. And the rights of monthly tenants are much less than fixed term.
Okay, so they kind of prefer that in a way.
And of course, a lot of these people can't get their leases. That was a big issue.
Because you guys got bought out by
and
Atlas,
we were
right?
told when Atlas bought out from Denver that we would just be the previous leases from Denver would just be like held on to, and that's what would be followed. I requested a physical copy of my lease when I entered my complex just to make sure. And now, towards the end of everybody's terms, nobody can get them. And if anybody requests it, they just don't respond.
Oh,
and that's the biggest kicker, is that they just don't respond to anybody's issues. It's like they're pleading the fifth on every single question that they can.
Yeah. And like, so we're coming in here, when you reached out to us, people had already gotten notices to quit. And so here we are jumping into the situation where people have a few weeks to do something or even figure out what's going to happen. And there's just a handful of us to do research from nothing on like, okay, what rights apply? Okay, how does the lease affect that? Okay, what documentation these people have? That is no time to figure all of that out.
Well, and 10 days I can't imagine being told that I have to be out of my house in 10 days.
Yeah,
it would be.
If you're already like a single parent living in that shithole, then there's no way you're gonna find a new place. Nobody can just find a new place unless
with the
you're
outrageous rents and everything
Oh.
going on in Colorado Springs. So, but this is legal, and I think this is an important thing, right? That like sometimes things are legal, but they ain't right.
That's
You know what I'm saying?
shitty,
Like
but
it's
it's
immoral.
okay.
And that's a place to fight. That's because those things need to change, right?
Yeah, and those are some things we can fight given time. But yeah, a lot of the other stuff is just ambiguity about like, is this something we can take action against them on? And you need to be very certain about that, because if it escalates to something where you're suing them, again, putting a lot on the line there. Lost my thought there. Rent. Yeah, so the rent situation, like just in the Springs in general. I was able to get some numbers on that, and it's fucking ridiculous.
Right. So like you have 10 days to leave, and good luck finding an apartment.
Yeah,
like you said, especially like if you're a single mom or something. Yeah.
So here's the deal here in the Springs. A 1-bedroom apartment costs 6% more now than it did last year.
Right.
And that's 7% more than the year before that, 5% more than that. That adds up to 20% increase in the last 3 years.
Because each one doesn't sound like a ton, but in 3 years, that's a lot.
Chips away.
Imagine getting a 6% raise, a massive 6% raise, year over year for multiple years.
Here goes more money. Here goes more money. Oh wait, no, that'll never happen. Right?
But that's what the landlords are getting. They're getting a 6% raise every year.
Single year.
That's like, and I think there's this misunderstanding that like, oh well, the industry has to do that, and you have to like mark your properties according to property value.
Market.
Yeah, according to the market. But that's a farce.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as the market.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
choosing to make it that expensive.
The market is controlled by capital and how much they decide things cost.
And then everyone else follows, and then you're a sucker for not charging that amount.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we, the people, are left admonished by that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, you know, John and I, we wrote in the newsletter yesterday, we just talked about how a third of the city makes less than $45,000 a year. And
that puts you in low income or very low income.
Extreme.
Yeah.
Extremely low or low income.
So a third of the city is either very low income or extremely low income. So they can't afford average market.
Oh yeah, and that's
like
not average.
households.
That is median, and actually it's not even median.
Right,
it's
median,
below median, the 40th percentile. So these are the lower end apartments that are now 20% more expensive. And what does that mean? Is it means that like a 1-bedroom apartment is about to cost over $1,000, which is what a 2-bedroom apartment cost a few years ago.
Yeah.
So what happens a few years from now when you've lost that bedroom 3 years. What happens when you lose the next one in another 3?
Got to start killing your kids.
Yeah.
I mean,
Obviously.
that's just...
They say that our housing market right now is 107% higher than the national average.
Yeah, and that is after the pandemic.
Yeah, after the pandemic. And then that it's, I forgot, and that our housing market has been higher than the national average since like June of 2019, I think it was.
And yet we have lower
every
wages.
Every quarter since.
Oh yeah, we're not getting paid more. A lot of people got paid less after everything that happened.
Yeah. Well, we saw during the pandemic the wealth of the wealthy just skyrocketed, and the average worker became
the rich
poorer.
got richer, the poor got
Yeah,
poorer.
it's almost like this is an adage.
And you know what? When you look at like the exact amounts that the lower half of the population lost in income, it just about exactly matches what billionaires gained.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Let us get that.
Yeah, we're just gonna scoop that up from you guys
because we're powerful.
So, and here's the thing about fighting or expressing tenant rights is that you don't have much rights against gradually rising rents.
Right.
Like, and I don't have any faith in the system, in the city, state, or federal government in addressing the rising rent problems. I mean, most of the people writing laws are the same people that own properties, and they want that extra money to stay ahead of the curve because, you know, this isn't the only crisis going on.
Or they've just completely bought into it. What was it that Southers told us at Juneteenth? The city is not in the business of housing.
Not in the city of Colorado Springs is not in the business of housing, gentlemen. If you want to be like Austin, this conversation is over.
But it's like, well, you're in the business of homelessness. You're in the business of poverty.
They're in the business of extraction.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a social cleansing, man.
Yeah.
That's what we wrote in the news.
What I've been thinking about is Springs is just putting more attention on the rich people that want to move here than the people who already exist here.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, I think that, you know, I, for one, am about action. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, now what's we about to do? You know what I'm saying? So we got a housing march. Are you coming? Are you coming?
Absolutely.
That day,
thinking about it? All right, you stay home. I'm serious though. You know, seriously. We are going to start putting this date out and talking about to people about why we're doing this and why they need to be there. It said it was like 80-something thousand households, right? Is that what the math told us yesterday? It was like 80-something thousand households. That's not people. That, you know, you pointed out, that's probably like 2, 3, 4 people per house. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole lot of damn people, man. And
if all the people facing
this problem,
housing insecurity of some way, or like having to pay 50% of their rent, came out, the city would have to do something. They couldn't ignore
it would stop functioning.
Tens of thousands of people in the street.
Right.
It makes me think of successful actions to overthrow governments. Just going into the street, like Tahrir Square in Egypt, all they did was go out into the street and shut the city. Well, and workers came off their jobs. But if we stopped paying rent, went on general strike, went out into the streets and just made the city not function until they'd met our demands, they would meet our demands.
They'd be like, guys, I think we are.
Right. Or we could just take over.
I believe we are now in the business of housing, and we want to build some stuff for the people now.
Exactly.
So, obviously, we know that's not going to happen, because if it was, that it would happen already. So, we have to do our part to, like, talk to these people about this stuff and just come to the march. Just come to the march.
And there are other things, like we just had the tenants' rights bill pass. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not saying that that's going to fix everything, but I have lived in other states where you have more rights as a tenant than Colorado. Mm-hmm. And it does give you that little bit of, like, breathing room so that you can feel like you're not, like, constantly just struggling to
paying
survive.
Half of your income to your landlord.
Yeah.
Jesus,
in Pennsylvania, all I did was write my landlord a letter and be like, according to this law, and they're like, here's your money back, you son of a... You know what I'm saying?
Abide by the law.
Yeah, exactly. Because they actually had a system in place that, like, I was like, there's just the magistrate's court just right down the street. I'll take you right down there, and they're just like, okay, here's your rent.
Here's your money
deposit.
If I have to.
But I was cutting you off. What were you gonna say? Do you remember?
I was gonna say, I think one of the biggest problems with taking any affirmative action in the Springs is just how brutal our police force is. Absolutely relentless.
I'm not familiar with it. Did you know that?
The motherfuckers ready to fight their ass.
Taking advantage of their position of power.
Yeah, I know this is news.
Yeah.
I mean, like, when I moved back down here, beginning of last year, I decided to go out, walk around, look for a job. As soon as I step out onto Colorado Avenue, I see a police officer in his car just driving it through a parking lot, pursuing a homeless woman.
Yeah, because
and she was like terrified, walking away. And then
she had the gall to not have a home.
Right?
Yeah, he slammed. Yeah, of course he slammed it to her.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so sick of this shit, man. And it's just the reason why I'm so, just like, you know what, cop, man, fuck you. Like every time I see you, I don't care if you're a good guy, if you got kids and you don't beat your wife, like the other 40% do.
1 3 1 2. Fuck the cops.
Yeah, fuck all you motherfuckers, man.
Yeah, I remember back when we were passing out food to Lincoln Springs. They had cops there within minutes to try to stop that whole thing. Giving food to tenants.
I don't remember which episode,
but
look for it. It's called Free the Groceries.
Free the Grocery with Monica Karen. I wonder if she's still the property manager over there.
Probably.
We should go see. Man, we should take groceries over there for old time's sake.
Yeah, we
just
should.
to do it again, man.
Yeah, totally.
Anyway, guys, well, hey, listen, Tenant Union, Springs Tenant Union. We appreciate you guys coming and all of the things that the union is doing, especially you. I see you every week in there humping along and like, folks that are actually living in the city that are like, yo, thank you or whatever, you know what I'm saying, is happening. So, however big or small it might seem, is huge for us, and we appreciate the work that you're doing in the city. Somebody's got to do it, and we just hope that it can become more broad and vast and that you're able to get some help.
And we hope that you guys' struggle over there at Willow Springs.
I mean, I'm out of there in a week.
Right.
So I'm chilling, but...
That's what they're hoping, though, is everybody just,
Yeah, just gets out of there, man.
I'm hoping for all these people. I mean, like, allegedly, the building is riddled with asbestos. And they're just trying not to tell anybody. So
I wouldn't doubt it, man. I wouldn't doubt it because that happened. What's the apartments behind the Sam's Club on Academy?
Oh, yeah.
Creek. So that happened with them, and they, the bill got messed up or whatnot.
Right.
Anyway, guys, we'll do it. So, are we saying the date?
Yeah.
July 31st.
There's something else going on that I can't remember, but
yeah, something going on. But yeah, the 31st we're gonna be marching, man. So follow the Chinook Center and
follow the Tenant Union on Facebook.
Yeah, all of the organizations that'll be supporting it.
Anything else that you had to add? Or?
Yeah, I do have call to action. We are still getting people together again, and we need more people that are able to do research on the situations that tenants bring to us and talk with the tenants. Just make sure that they have someone that they can talk to and help them understand what's happening.
So join the Tenant Union.
Yep.
Join the Tenant Union.
You could be changing a life.
Heck yeah. Even if you're like, I know, there's people that, are the ones that need the help that are helping. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Usually that's how it goes.
That
you know what I'm saying? The people that are going through are the
always.
ones that are like, I'm going to fight and get my ass out of here. So, if you're one of those folks, come on, join the union, man, and let's get it together. July 31st, man. We'll all be out there, huh?
Right on.
All right, Johnny.
Thanks for coming, you guys.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank y'all so much. Another one done, bro.
Yes, another
right,
one
man.
bites the dust.
Good job.
All right.
Yeah. All right,
Peace
man.
out, everybody.
We'll holler at y'all.
If
Oh,
I
sorry.
may.
Go ahead. So,
Fuck the police, fuck landlords.
yes, that was the best ending yet.
Yeah, that was a
We're
good
gonna have
ending.
to have
Hell yeah.
Allah's back. All right.
Yeah.
Peace,
All
everybody.
right, man. Holler at y'all. Good job.
Yep. Bye.